Hey guys, Cameron with CBM Reviews here, and I've got a movie review for you today. This is the review of Reign of the Supermen. Reign of the Supermen is a direct sequel to The Death of Superman, which came out last year. It was directed by Sam Liu again, and it stars everybody that was in the original one. If you aren't aware of the story, Superman in this movie has died, and there are some people or entities that are masquerading as the new Man of Steel. And it's up to Lois to investigate who these super people are and what their true intentions are, and whether or not Superman is actually dead. Before I get into this review, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, comic book movie reviews or comic book TV reviews, maybe even Comic-Con footage, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you want to know as soon as I post a video, hit that notification bell and you'll know every single time I post a video. I watched this movie in the theaters, and the closest one that showed it was about 30 miles away. No big deal. I get there and something was off. This was a double feature, so not only did I watch Reign of the Superman, I actually rewatched The Death of Superman right before it, which really helped because it gave you all those ties that you may have forgotten upon the first viewing. So this is what I was supposed to be watching up on the big screen, and this is what I ended up watching. I was a little upset, especially since I actually went to somebody and said, hey, this has too much green in it. I mean, Superman's uniform wasn't blue. It was some sort of dirty turquoise or something. The sky was green. The earth was green, and everything just looked off or muted, and so it kind of took away from my viewing experience, and I hated that. And I was getting ready to absolutely eviscerate the theater. But they gave me a free pass because they realized that they messed up. So I got a free pass out of it, but it really did kind of mar my viewing experience for this movie. So I'm not going to take any points away from the actual movie. The movie didn't do anything wrong in that instance, but come on, movie theater. You got to do better for a premiere. You definitely need to do better. As I said before, this is the direct sequel to The Death of Superman. And everything feels comfortable. It's almost like riding a bike. Absolutely nobody feels like they're out of place, and things keep going. You get to understand who these super people are and where they come from, even though it's not immediately revealed who everybody is and what their intentions are. But who exactly are these Supermen? First off, you've got Steel, who wears the S emblem on his chest and wears a suit of armor. Nobody is really expecting him to be Superman, but he's just trying to do some good while Superman is no longer in Metropolis. Next up, you've got the Eradicator, who seems to have all of Superman's powers and has some pretty cool goggles. He has all of Superman's abilities, but doesn't really dish them out with any sort of compassion. Next, you've got Superboy, who Lex Luthor has a little bit of a hand to deal with. And then you've got Cyborg Superman, who is desperately trying to show the world that he is, in fact, the one and true Superman. This, of course, is accompanied with the Justice League having to deal with the death of their fallen comrade and all of the extra things that fall into their plate. Even though we don't see all those extra things, it is definitely mentioned. So what does this movie get right? Almost everything. I really enjoyed myself for the most part. Like I said, the part that I didn't enjoy was the theater's fault, and it had nothing to do with the actual movie. It does follow the source material very well, even though they do take a few liberal changes. It doesn't change a whole lot, and it doesn't change the soul of the story. Not everything is perfect, though. There are a few issues with the story, not necessarily things that are wrong with the story in a self-contained bubble, but whenever you take into account that this takes place in this animated universe, and there are some characters or people that they have previously had contact with, and then all of a sudden there's relatively convenient amnesia, That seems to be a little bit of an issue. And then sometimes with the voice acting, and I noticed this when I rewatched The Death of Superman, sometimes the voice acting and the animation tends to be a little choppy, like they recorded a line and then there's a little break, and they record a line and there's a little break, and then sometimes it doesn't flow naturally like you would normally have as far as regular speech is concerned. Another thing that I found an issue with was some of the voice casting, and I said this with Lex Luthor in the previous one, yet I can't say it in this one. He fits a whole lot better because he's got a lot more to do. But there is one character, which I'm not going to spoil for you, that just doesn't feel cast right. I did talk with somebody else and they thought that the casting was brilliant. I just didn't feel it. To kind of wrap it up, this movie is a perfect companion piece to The Death of Superman. Not a perfect movie, but as far as putting the two together, it's like salt and pepper. It just works out great. So as far as a grade for this, I'm gonna give it a 79. Slightly better than The Death of Superman because they actually do a lot more with the story. They're a whole lot more ambitious with what they wanna do and where they go. Even though I said sometimes the story doesn't make 100% sense with the small nitpicks, everything works out well enough to be very much an enjoyable time. If you're going to watch this though, I highly recommend that you watch The Death of Superman along with it. So watch The Death of Superman, and then right after that, watch Reign of the Superman. You will not be disappointed. So that's my review for Reign of the Superman. You guys tell me what you think about that in the comment section down below. You enjoyed this video? Hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Share this with all your friends. And as always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.